Those one seeds keep on changing hands as the Denver Broncos punch another in, this one in the form of R.J. Harvey. 11-2 they go, and now a one seed represented with the Pats on the bye. The Broncos take this one 24-17. Bo Nix, efficient and often, 31 of 38 for 212. And for more, we get you out to the booth where the gentlemen on the call join us with their thoughts. And CD, you know I always bring a ball of my own. Charles Davis, Jason McCourty here with their thoughts on the tail end of this one. And I know this isn't the CFP, thankfully so. Style points not required. We're waiting for the Broncos to offer not just a victory, but a convincing one. Charles, when you look at the style in which they won this game, how much confidence should that build?
I think it should build a lot. And throughout the game, my partner mentioned how this season has gone for Denver. And for everyone on the outside looking at them and saying 9 straight wins all come from behind. Yeah. The last 4 wins by a combined 10 points. And not giving them credit, Jason made a very convincing case. Every one of those close games you win makes you stronger, more confident, and tougher to beat down the stretch. They're not going to panic in tough situations. Today, I thought it was a very good style game for them in terms of this, Joe. They controlled the game right from the beginning. They played the game in the style they wanted to play. And as you pointed out, style points don't matter in this thing. For them and for Denver, I think Sean Payton thinks the style was perfect for today because they methodically ground down an opponent that has given them a little bit of trouble.
Jason, I'm interested in the style that Vegas took in this one as well. Sort of like let your hair down at some point. What do you have to lose at a certain moment? I know it's game plans and you stay committed to them, but what did you make of Vegas's approach to this moment?
I look at Vegas at this point, and they're trying to better their program and build a foundation for some of their young guys that they believe in years to come. So opposed, I think, CD, to going out there and you're just trying to win a game each and every week is how do we build on the future? So a guy like Caleb Rogers starting at the right guard, playing the most snaps he's played throughout the course of the season, continuing to develop Brock Bowers and trying to get the ball in his hand. They tried to stick to the run with Ashton Genty, and that's been the issue for them. They haven't been able to open up holes, which really limits their passing game when you can't run the football. The defense has done their hardest to try to hold up all season long, being put in tough situations. This right now is just a Las Vegas team that doesn't have the talent to compete with some of the teams in their division, and that's why they're in the situation they're in.
All right, let's zoom out here from division to conference, because with this win and the Pats on the bye, Denver, for the remainder of this week until next week, will represent that one seed at least. I'm interested in both of your points of view on this, because we're looking at 2 sophomore quarterbacks that are at the top of the conference right now. How important is the where when you assess that one seed? Jason, you first here.
Oh, it's so important. And talking to Sean Payton this week, he said it. He explained to his guys, the bye week is so important because you win 2 games at home, you look up, and now you're preparing to go to the Super Bowl. And for both of these young quarterbacks, they're winning in different ways. For the Broncos, Bo Nix has relied heavily on his defense and has made big plays throughout the course of a fourth quarter, 2-minute situations to propel them to victory. And then you look at the other side of it, Drake May, he has been outstanding, an MVP candidate, as his name has been mentioned all season long, of getting the ball down the field and making those type of plays. Today's victory was so important because if these teams both end up with the same exact record, Denver would win the tiebreaker, a better record on common opponents.
And I'm just going to go strictly with the 2 quarterbacks, okay, and what they both brought to the table when they got to the NFL. Bo Nix, 61 starts in college over 2 different schools, all right, and hooks up with a master quarterback guy in Sean Payton when he gets to the NFL. Drake May, 3-year starter at North Carolina, goes in the first year, doesn't really have it because he's not the starter from the beginning. Jacoby Brissett is. But I will say this, Alex Van Pelt and the crew that was there, Gerard Mayo, they gave him 30% of the reps in practice to try and get him ready before he took over. And then this year, here comes Josh McDaniels, who is a master quarterback guy. Both of them in outstanding situations, both of them meeting the moment. I'm not worried about either one of these two when we go into the playoffs. We go, well, they're second-year quarterbacks. I'm not sure that second year is going to show up with either one of them because of the experiences they brought with them and the people that they have guiding them at this moment.
It's cream season in the NFL, the best rising to the top, 2 of our best right here on CBS Sports HQ. Thank you, gentlemen.
Appreciate it.
Take care, Joe.
We see a little ball fake from CD. I bit on it. Most consecutive wins in Broncos history. 10 in a row. Doesn't matter how, doesn't matter where, doesn't matter why. 10 in a row for this Broncos team. All right, back in studio, and we'll get to the Jags here in a moment, but I want your thoughts here on Daniel Jones and the Colts, this fall from grace as a team, and this really unfortunate moment for the individual. We're talking about a 1 seed, looking at the future, trading firsts for a defensive back, doing all these things as the arrow points up, and it feels like since that moment, the arrow's completely flipped, and now Daniel Jones squarely in question what is likely an Achilles injury.
It's tough. Man, just being a fan of the sport and knowing how difficult it is for these players to go out and do their job at a high level week in and week out, and to have something like this happens that you have no control over, it sucks. It's the nature of a player in the National Football League, but it sucks. Because the thing about this is that they will continue to play football games. They will continue to move on and go about their day-to-day routine. For Daniel Jones, everything changes right now. The comeback story that we were in the midst of watching, if you didn't have a dog in the race, you were just cheering for his ability to go through the adverse situations, not live up to the level that he was supposed to live up. You know, go get to another team, a new team a year ago, played sparingly a little bit there, and then get this opportunity and you win the job in training camp, and ultimately you became the talk of the league in the first month and a half of the season. Not only were you balling, but because of your efforts, your team was one of the best teams in the National Football League. And now all of that ends because Daniel Jones was on the brink. Our very own Jonathan Jones talked about the Indianapolis Colts the willingness to pay him deservingly so he can stay and be a part of their organization as their franchise quarterback. Now, all of those things are up in the air now because he's injured, and this is a severe injury that probably won't be cleared until maybe a year from now.
The assumed injury carries 9 to 12 months for a ruptured Achilles.
Yes, assumed.
That hasn't been officially reported, but all of the signs of what we saw tell us what this is for Daniel Jones. The franchise tag may be unlikely now. A long-term deal, very unlikely now. And you feel for a guy that really took his opportunity and ran forward with it. We have to look at the road forward here for Indianapolis. It's a team that's lost 4 of their last 5. They fall to 8-5 in a very competitive AFC picture. A step back here in the division, a massive step back in terms of that wild card race. What is the road forward other than hand it to Jonathan Taylor and hope you can scrape out a couple wins?
You just got to get Riley Leonard and get him along as soon as possible to be able to play serviceable football. And your defense got to be better. I mean, we didn't see anything from the defense. I understand we talked about the injuries, the injury to Daniel Jones, but your defense, I understand you were missing some guys also, but at some point in time, you got to bow your back up and get the significant stops. So when you have a backup quarterback, it puts more pressure on the defenders to be able to make sure they're as flawless as possible because you have a backup quarterback. The passing game won't be clicking as it was clicking with Daniel Jones. When you have a Riley Leonard who will be probably making his first professional start next week against the Seattle Seahawks on the road. And that's the thing about the Indianapolis Colts. We already were talking about, you know, have they fizzled out from what we've seen over the last few weeks, not playing winning football? Have teams kind of figured them out, you know, putting more pressure on the passing game, slowing down Jonathan Taylor? So things were already getting difficult for the Colts. They're going to be extremely difficult now if they have to play without Daniel Jones the rest of the way. Because like I said earlier in our show, there's a traffic jam of like teams fighting for a few seats at the table. It's a big table, but there are only a few seats available. And you got quite a few people trying to sit down. And in their division also, because as we talked about the Jaguars, who they played today, but we can't forget about the Houston Texans, who found their stride. And we know how great their defensive team is. So for the Colts, man, it's going to be a long season.
A lot between them and where they want to go.
Then, yes.
Maybe not head of the table right now, but the Jacksonville Jaguars, I feel like there's still a perception and performance disconnect. 29.8 points per game the last 5. Where has this team kicked it into high gear, and are they getting the respect they deserve right now?
T-Law, it starts with Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence has done a great job protecting Wilson. Protecting Wilson like it's a newborn baby. Shouts out to the new dad, by the way. That's what you got to do. And that's what he's done so far over the last few weeks, and that's what he did today. I mean, 244 yards, 2 passing touchdowns. I love when he is seeing the football field like this, and he's not pressing the issue to try to make something happen that isn't there. Bill Cowher used to tell us all the time, to the quarterbacks, sometimes punting the football is a good thing because you don't change momentum when you try to force something that's not there, and now you create turnovers. That's what we're seeing from Trevor Lawrence. And oh, by the way, BTJ is finally showing up. Brian Thomas Jr., we know he is him. For whatever reason, he wasn't living up to the billing early in the year. But now he's coming to the party. Tim Patrick and Jacoby Myers, Brenton Strange, they got some dudes that can catch the football from Trevor Lawrence. All of those guys that I mentioned had a great game today along with ETN. So this is a team offensively, when their quarterback is protecting the football, they will have more than a fighting chance.
Yeah, that all adds up to momentum in Duval, led by Trevor Lawrence, who we've been waiting to see it, and we'll see if playoff football's in front of them and what they do there. The real question we want an answer to. The Colts, meantime, taking a look at their waning chances to be a playoff participant, all the way down to 58.6%, and I don't know if that model factors in the likely outcome of Daniel Jones's injury.